From prison to PhD, the man who never gave up. Emotional, motivational story. Imagine being locked behind bars, branded a failure, counted out by society. Now imagine walking across a university stage dressed in a PhD gown, with the world standing in awe of your journey. This isn't just a dream, it's the unbelievable true story of a man who turned his darkest moments into a powerful testimony of hope, resilience, and unstoppable determination. This is the story of Dr. Stanley Williams, a man who went from prison walls to academic halls. Stanley was born into chaos. Raised in a violent neighborhood where survival was more important than dreams, every corner he turned, danger waited for him. Poverty wasn't just a background noise, it was his daily life. Abuse, neglect, and hunger were his earliest teachers. School felt like a foreign language. Every day was a struggle just to stay alive. By the age of 16, Stanley had already fallen into gangs, crime, and a world that promised quick respect but delivered deep scars. At 19, Stanley's world came crashing down. Arrested for armed robbery, sentenced to 10 years behind bars, a number that felt more like a death sentence than a punishment. Prison wasn't just a place of confinement. It was a place where hope went to die. Surrounded by violence, trapped by concrete walls and razor wire, Stanley almost gave up. He lost years of his life to rage, regret, and hopelessness. But somewhere in the quiet, broken moments when no one was looking, a small seed of change started to grow. One night, after another fight, Stanley sat alone in his cell, staring at the cracked mirror above the sink. For the first time, he saw himself not as a victim, but as someone responsible for his own pain. In that moment of brutal honesty, he picked up a tattered book from the prison library. A realization washed over him. If I have the power to destroy my life, I have the power to rebuild it. Stanley signed up for every class the prison offered. GED prep, college courses by mail. While others slept or fought or gave up, Stanley was studying by the dim prison light, refusing to be defined by a number or a mistake. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks. There were failures. There were days he wanted to quit. But every small victory, every completed course, became another brick in the foundation of his new life. 10 years later, Stanley walked out of prison, not as the same man who entered, but as someone transformed. Armed with a high school diploma, a stack of college credits, and an unshakable resolve, he stepped into a world that still judged him, still doubted him. But he knew, the world's opinion of me doesn't define my destiny. The classrooms felt overwhelming, the students distant. He worked night shifts as a janitor just to afford tuition. He faced ridicule, discrimination, and constant self-doubt. But he kept moving forward, class by class, semester by semester. Associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. And finally, against all odds, acceptance into a PhD program. Stanley's biggest battle wasn't with professors or assignments or exams. It was with himself. The voice in his head, the one planted years ago in prison, kept whispering, "You don't belong here. Fraud. You'll never make it." But Stanley had learned something powerful in those dark prison nights. The voice of fear is a liar. He silenced it every day with action. Stanley Williams, once inmate number 574830, walked across a grand university stage, dressed in a flowing black robe, a velvet PhD hood resting on his shoulders. Tears streamed down his face as he held his diploma. A symbol not just of education, but of redemption, rebirth, and the human spirit's power to rise from ashes. The entire auditorium rose to their feet in thunderous applause. It was just a degree. It's proof. A man's past doesn't define his future. His choices do. Today, Dr. Stanley Williams travels across the country, speaking to at-risk youth, prisoners, and broken souls. Stanley's story isn't just about him. It's about all of us. Every single one of us carries prisons inside. Prisons of fear, regret, shame, and broken dreams. But the key to freedom isn't held by anyone else. It's in our own hands. No matter how broken your past, no matter how big your mistakes, or how many people count you out, today, right now, you just have to believe and take that first step.